Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Boy in Nauru, one of my most favorite countries to talk about. Nauru and I go way back. I'll be sure to link my Nauru playlist up there. Please watch that. Nauru is the reason that my channel exists. I was thinking about doing ASMR. I was toying with the idea of starting a channel, and I randomly read the Wikipedia for Nauru one day, and I thought this was the most interesting place in the world. And I realized that's what my channel is going to be. I'm going to talk about geography, so I can talk about places like Nauru. So thank you, Nauru, for my wonderful channel. Everyone say thank you, Nauru. But yeah, here you can see this is the neighborhood. Nauru doesn't have any towns. It's one big town because it is a very tiny island. Let's zoom out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. So zoom out, you'll see just how small this island is. It is bitty, bitty, bitty. It is the smallest republic in the world, meaning the only countries smaller than this, I think, are like Monaco and the Vatican, which Monaco is a monarchy, the Vatican is the Catholic Church. So this is the smallest republic in the world. So how would one find Nauru on a map? You can see, very easy to find, is the island of New Guinea. Papua New Guinea spreads out here toward the Solomons. You just have to find your way up to Nauru. I guess if we look north, that's pretty hard. There's like nothing up there to point us down. The Aleutian Islands doesn't really help, does it? There's Hawaii way over here. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Oh, it's lonesome. All these islands around here you can see are part of Micronesia. Nauru is its own thing. Its own thing. So, let's talk about what we can find in this neighborhood. First of all, if you look over here, you can see all of this very rugged terrain. You see all this? Very rocky and hollow, all scraped out. And then if you play around in the rest of the island, once it loads, most of the island is this craggy terrain, all scraped out. Now, why is that? That is because in 1900, Nauru was found out to have a very large phosphate deposit. Phosphate being a rock made mainly out of fossilized bird poop, but it was very valuable for fertilizers. So an Australian company came in and started mining out all of the phosphate. Eventually, Nauru declared its independence in order to control its own phosphate industry. It became the richest country per capita in the world at its height. But unfortunately, the style of phosphate mining they were using destroyed the environment, and now the island has no phosphate left. They've scraped it all off, and all that's left is this very inhospitable, rocky terrain, all craggy and destroyed. So everyone in Nauru lives on the coast here, as you can see. Nobody lives in the middle because it is inhospitable. So we have a little bit of that here. Let's see, there's the solar farm. That's interesting. I like how I've done a bunch of videos on Nauru, and every time I come back, there's something a little different. It's updates enough. You know what else I like? I think it's this business here. I'm not sure what that is. But go back, I want to show them. They don't have slideshows, but look, they operate out of Ladira and Tifa's house. It's a great business address. This church has a slideshow, though. The Pacific Lighthouse Church. It looks like they've got a marching band day. Or maybe there's a school's marching band that's performing here. Having a big parade. There's the color guard. Everyone's very color coordinated. There's a big band there, all uniform. And then when there's not parades, looks like they're playing some ping pong there. All the pretty lights around it. So yeah, I imagine when it's time for church, they probably maybe get fold-out chairs or they pull these benches in and have sermons here. I don't think there's an actual building. I think it's just one big canopy, which is kind of neat. You can let in that nice ocean breeze while you preach. Let's see, there's one more slideshow. Oh, actually, I know this. So I keep accidentally tapping on graveyards. So Google Earth keeps thinking I want to see graveyards, but this one's actually interesting. I think there were 2 presidents of Nauru that were born here in Boe. There's the grave of one of them, Sir Hammer de Robert. Very respectful grave there. There was one other slideshow. Here it is. There's a tourism group here. And we can see all the things that aren't in Boe, like Buada Lagoon, which actually, when we come back to Nauru next, we'll talk about Buada Lagoon. The World War II caves and big guns from World War II. We'll talk about that in a minute. You can bring the bros out to the underwater cave. Wow, I'm taking the sights there. There's Buada Lagoon, not too far off from where we are. Whoa, that's way too sexy. Hold on, that's too sexy. Taking pictures of the sunset, all the old war relics, and these big cranes, which we looked at before on the channel, because there's no way to dock in Nauru because it's surrounded by coral. These big cranes were built to transport the phosphate off the island onto big transport ships. Of course, they're now rusted over and disused. Thumbs up. Old building there, all destroyed. An old bunker there, definitely from World War II. And this looks like actually inside the tourist office there. You can see all the cool photos. So yeah, there isn't a very large tourism industry in Nauru, but you can go there and get a nice tour of the area. Let's talk a bit about World War II in Nauru. Actually, before we get into World War II, we're going to talk about a holiday in Nauru that involves World War II. It's called Angam Day, and it's celebrated every October 26th. Angam Day basically celebrates the ongoing survival and prosperity of the Nauruans. And that is because there were 2 situations where the Nauruan population nearly died out. There are 2 times where the population dipped below 1,500. And the first time was in the early 20th century, after a very devastating breakout of the flu. Wiped out many, many people. So as the population was building back up, they were hoping for Angam, the survival of the Nauruan people. So they're waiting for a baby to be born that would make the population, 1,501. And she was born in 1932. And she was the Angam baby. She was born on October 26th, hence the holiday. However, just around the corner from then was World War II. Japan came and occupied Nauru and left a very devastating mark, not just on the island, but on the population, because of course they were very brutally enslaved. And many people in Nauru fled to an island in Micronesia, called Chuuk Island. Today it's called Chuuk Island. And many people there basically starved to death, including the Angam baby, who was probably like maybe 8 or 9 years old at that time. Very devastating. So after World War II, after those events happened, the population was about to reach extinction levels again. But it wouldn't be long after the end of World War II in 1945, here in Boe, that the second Angam baby was born, and everyone celebrated. So yeah, that is the story of Angam Day. The population's doing great. It's not nearly going extinct now. Although I was reading about Nauru started a new scheme, which every 10 years or so the government comes up with a new scheme. By the way, Yarn is just down here. Speaking of the government, you can see over here the government office, Parliament building. This is where Nauru's government happens. Just over here in Yarn on the other side of the strip there, the airport strip, which was built by the Japanese. Well, it was built by the Nauruans as the Japanese forced them to build it. But just across the way is Yarn, which is the capital of Nauru. There technically isn't a capital because there's no capital, there's no towns, right? It's the de facto capital. But anyway, the government, their new scheme. They decided to sell Nauruan citizenship. It's for about $145,000-ish, depending on your currency. They've tried this before, and they had to cancel it because some shady individuals was trying to buy Nauruan citizenship, because you can enter many other countries without a visa with Nauruan citizenship, and probably do some nefarious things as you enter there. So they had to cancel that plan, but they started it again. But they said that this plan, all of the money that they'll make from selling citizenship is going to go to a special fund to relocate the Nauruan population in case the sea levels rise and swallow up the coast here. I think the plan is to try to construct something inland, but this is a coral island, so you can't really dig down and just remove all of this, right? You'll just hit water. So it maybe move people to safe places inland or to other islands. This is new. New Nauru Stadium under construction. I'm just gonna peek even though it's not in Boe. I hope you can't hear this wire that's driving me crazy over here. Here we go. I'm just gonna move it down there. Yeah, there's no photos, surprisingly. New stadium. Yeah, I guess they are trying to build over all of this nonsense. Well, good for them. That would be great. But yeah, I suppose that's a good thing to put money toward, right? Putting it back to something very important, because this neighborhood is one big typhoon away from just being swallowed up by the ocean, isn't it? And that wouldn't be good for anyone. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Boe. It's a very tiny neighborhood. I kept reading sources that said all this down here was part of Boe, but on the tablet it says it's all part of Yarn. It said this was Boe. I mean, they do have Iwo Beach. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Boe. Awesome. We can see the crane there. And these big old rocks. So yeah, you can't really dock a boat there. It is not safe to do. Is there a crane? There is a crane there. The old dinosaur cranes. This cord is driving me insane. I'm so sorry if you can hear it thumping around. Oh my goodness. I think that's my cue to end the video. Is this in Boe? It sure is, huh? Well, this is a good place to end it. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. I have some really interesting photos to show you on Google Earth next, because we're going to Madagascar. And for whatever reason, you guys love the Madagascar videos, so I'm excited to make that one for you. they always do so well. Even if it's really obscure parts of Madagascar, they always do well. So I'll do a good job for you guys. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Do you think Centennial Hall is part of Bowie? It says it is. Awesome. Centennial Hall, they're having a party. Oh, nice picture of everyone there. Beautiful smiles all around. And cool sunglasses. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good night. Good night.